Hi everyone, welcome to Cake, Coffee and Culture, a place where we sit down for a sweet treat and a great chat about queer stories, identity, and everything in between. I'm Grabari, I'm a Polish journalist living here in Barcelona and super excited for our little discussion today. Today we are at Nūn Cultural Café, one of the most beloved places here in Barcelona, which is all about community, great coffee, and connection. And today we're going to connect with our amazing guest, Logal Kako.
Hi.
Welcome, how are you?
Thank you, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very good, I'm very excited to talk to you.
Same.
But first of all, tell us maybe why are we here and what is so amazing about Nūn Café?
I love Noon because it's a remnant of home. I just love what this cafe represents. So it's like this home that you always go and be comfortable at with your friends.
And you're having a special drink, which I was told is not a coffee, is not a tea.
It's caffeinated.
And you made it yourself, so...
Yes. I mean, I'm grateful for Leia, the owner of the cafe, because when I came, I was like, listen, I love to drink mate when I come to cafes. So there's only one bombilla in this cafe and it's for me. So I always drink it here at Noon. And it's an Argentinian drink, basically, that Syrian immigrants in Argentina brought back to Syria. And it became part of the coastal and mountainous regions in Syria. So we drink it in Syria differently than they do in Argentina, but very similarly.
So is this something we would have if we were
100%.
in Syria,
100%.
having this interview?
Yeah. You go to cafes across different cities and you find people drinking mate.
And what about like a sweet treat that is like very typical for Syria?
I would say Syrians love their sweets overall. We love sweet things. We have a variety of sweet things. There's knafe it's Palestinian originally, but we have it in Syria as well. We have our own halawat al-jiban, which comes from there's a conflict between two cities on who made it first. And there's just a big variety of sweets that we have in Syria. But I would say knafe is the one that comes to mind usually when I think of home.
So if you had to describe yourself as a dessert, what would it be?
I would say what we're having right now. Local came with the knafe. Oh,
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that looks really good.
I know. I mean, this is Middle Eastern Levantine delicacy, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna taste that, I'm gonna get to know you a little bit more.
Yes, crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Think of it that way.
That sounds very enticing. Okay, now I need to ask you questions and I'm gonna eat when you answer.
Oh, sorry, the ice cream was so good.
I know, that's why.
Okay,
we gotta do that.
Let's go.
Tell us more about your journey because it seems incredible. You went from Syria to Sweden, now Barcelona. What's your backstory?
Oof, backstory is a long story. So I grew up, I was born and raised in Syria. And I was born on the Mediterranean. And then I moved to Damascus at the beginning of the revolution in Syria in 2011 to study at university. Proudly, I was part of the people that were protesting against the dictatorship back then, but I had to leave in 2014 because for security reasons when it comes to my work against the dictatorship and being openly queer as well, and the compulsory military that we have in Syria. So 3 reasons that got me out of the country. My asylum journey was through Lebanon and Turkey. And then I made it to Sweden in 2014, at the end of 2014. I lived in Sweden for around 5 years until I got the citizenship. And I love Sweden a lot, but it didn't feel like it was my place, as in a place where I could thrive personally or internally. And I always say about Barcelona is that it was the middle ground between Syria and Sweden. Because Sweden has the human rights, but doesn't have the social warm culture. Syria has that social warm culture, but not the human rights. And Barcelona was that perfect middle between these two. And this is how I ended up on Barcelona. I also like the idea that I'm on the west side of the Mediterranean, and just on the eastern side is my country. So that gives me a bit of peace, you know, that I'm close to home.
So looking back at your journey, do you can think of any specific moments that you feel shaped your identity and who you are as a person?
There are a lot, to be honest with you. I can think of, seeing queer people openly, visibly in Damascus when I first went there when I was 17. I can tell you, like, it's different things that come to mind, but maybe the one thing that stuck the most with me was applying for asylum in Sweden when I arrived at the airport. Because when you leave your home on a journey of asylum, you prepare yourself. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna do that, but everything that you prepare for kind of falls apart when you're actually at that moment asking for asylum. At that time, I was very humiliated. I felt humiliated, I felt ashamed. It's kind of like, and I don't like to maybe, like, for a lack of better examples, it's like being abused at home and having to leave your city and knock on a stranger's home and be like, I'm abused and I don't have a place to go.
Admit it.
It's a very harsh reality, and I think that detached me from my Syrianness, from my Middle Easternness at the beginning. I held a lot of grudge to where I came from because of how painful that was. But then kind of I learned what it meant to be Middle Eastern and what it meant to be Syrian in Sweden. You know, you always learn about yourself when you're in someone else's home.
The energy is so synced. I'm like holding space.
Holding space.